Just gonna go live here on TikTok. Give me 1 second. So, obviously we've been going, all this talk about the boys since we came through the season finale, right, of the boys. And, it's been fun to go back and talk about more of the elements of the boys in greater depth and kind of look at some of the particulars, especially in the relationships, and just like, character arcs and development. And of course, one of the central components of the entire boys ecosystem was a relationship with Hughie and Annie, or as we should call her, Starlight, right? This was a central component early on because this gave the boys access, like an insider access, to knowing what was really going on. They got greater glimpses of Homelander. They got access to the building. They got a lot because of this relationship with Annie. And this is kind of where I'm going to focus at. When we talk about, this person posted, is it only me that loves this couple? And a lot of people reacted like there was no chemistry. One person says she was victim blaming him. So it's all across the board on this one. But here's what I'm going to point out. He was a terrible boyfriend. He was a terrible person to her. Hughie was very manipulative of her. Now let's remember, Hughie was not doing this as an outreach for mankind, right? Hughie was not like, this Homelander is wrong, the Supes are wrong on this level, and this is why he's doing it. This came from his relationship with Robin. His relationship with Robin was the genesis, the prime motivator for all the actions that he would take later. All these things that he would, throw away a lot of his morals for. He would commit murder. He would himself be, flirting with an addiction to V himself, right? He would make some really questionable decisions revolving around his parents, particularly his father. Like, Hughie is not clean in any regard. In any regard, I think as the show progressed, we saw more of him becoming the things that he didn't like. He always stood as the canary, or they called him the canary in the cage for Butcher, but at the same time, that canary was also being corrupted by Butcher. You didn't come out as clean. They walked away from the series saying that, Butcher saying that I tried all these things, but you never changed. But he really did. Like, if you really look at Hughie, you're questionable at best on whether you're overall a good person. And definitely in this relationship here, I have some real questions. Now, the genesis of how they met was obviously through innocence. It was random that they actually met up. But when he meets Annie, she's at a very vulnerable point in her life. She's just come out of a sexual assault. Okay? I need that to really, really resonate, that for most people, a sexual assault is like a defining component of that time period, what you were going through, what you experienced, and a lot of decisions that you're going to make are going to be coming from the fact that you were just SA'd, right? It's a very traumatic experience. While this is also going on, she's seeing a greater insight into what she thought was her dream life in terms of dealing with the Seven. Like, this is not all lovely. So this is kind of falling apart while her relationship with her mother starts to be in question. Once we get to the point that, she realizes how she got V, which I think is probably season 1, season 2, something like that. So this relationship with her mother is also disintegrating. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And Annie doesn't appear to have any other support structure. She was really rooted in her relationship with her mother. And once she moved away, once that got broken, and then the branch that she went out to from Des Moines, Iowa, the branch that she reached out to, which was the boys, turned out to be something that's completely corrupt. So she's feeling betrayal at both ends, and all this concern about who she was. What does it mean inside whatever role she might feel she played in what went down with the Deep, right? Because people who get SA'd in those situations, they often question, did I do enough? Did I push back hard enough? Was I clear? Did I say something that led him on? And in her position, it's unique because this wasn't physical. This was, all manipulation, right? So I'm not saying that she should question whether she has any accountability. I don't think that she does, but I think it's normal for someone in that position to question themselves, right? To ask, did I do something to facilitate this? And how should I change? So she's dealing with all this without having a real structure, right? This is a very easy person to target. And again, I'm not saying in any way that that's what Hughie did. It seems like he met her purely by random. They happen to have a connection, but pretty quickly that relationship turned into manipulation because of what Billy, what Butcher and the rest of the guys are pumping into his head. This is very much true. Let's remember that the boys were a CIA organization. They were funded by the CIA, although they would go wide of that. This is kind of where their core. So Butcher was also highly trained at manipulation techniques, and what they were doing with Annie was pure manipulation. If anyone had known this profile on her, you'd see her as extremely, extremely vulnerable for this type of manipulation. He's opposite of everything that she's seen. It's literally, like, she's opposite from what she thought was going to be her dream world. He's opposite of all those things. So him coming into his world, being like seen as a support system, allowed him to do a lot of things to her that I don't think she would have accepted. They used her to get information. They were using her to get access. That's documented. She even questioned him about this. That's how real it actually became. And I think what was the most significant is, I'm guessing this is around like season 3 or something like that. I think it was earlier on, maybe 2 or 3, where she's like, I got to get out of here. Like, she had actually been threatened again by Homelander. And she's like, I got to get out of there. And what he does is forces her to go back into that condition. He forces her to go back into the place. Think about it. Think about it. This is your loved one. This is someone that you really, really care about. All right. You care about them so much that maybe you would die for that person. That's the same person that you tell this person, this woman, I need you to go back to the place literally where you were sexually assaulted. I need you to go back to the place where people there who have openly made threats on your life on multiple occasions, right? Physically, like Homelander has physically put hands on her. She is physically taking abuse. She has literally been sexually assaulted. Those things and the whole mental component. But yet he's so driven by his CIA mission and his obsession with justice for his girlfriend Robin that all those things become, non-factors. So he is effectively not thinking about Annie's safety on any level while he's doing this. So this is a real important thing. Now, from a standpoint of Hughie, she's all upgrade for him, right? We can laugh about it, and I'm not going to put the, Robin down in any kind of way, but you go from Robin, regular girl, mid at best, to dating Starlight. Even without the whole Starlight fame, she's still a very attractive lady who does have superpowers, and at the time had access to resources as well. So I was just going to do a short one on this. Like, I didn't want to go in depth. Like, I really feel like overall, if I judge Hughie based on what their relationship was, and how he moved, the actual things that he did, not only was he not a good boyfriend for her, I don't even think he actually cared about her. Why you end up with Annie, again, she's an attractive lady, she's all that, I don't know if, and then you name your daughter after Robin? Like, come on, any guy out there, I know, I can't answer for how a woman would react to it, but any man out there who's dealing with a woman, she's had a loss. You might say, okay, I can help you kind of grieve through your loss of your ex, your husband, whoever it was. But then when we have a baby, I damn sure ain't allowing you're not naming this baby after that person. That's way too much loving at both ends of it to really make her feel secure. And I think her feeling secure in this relationship should matter as well. So looking at Hughie and like just how he moved with her, not only did I not like this couple, I didn't like how he moved, and I think he was very manipulative. And if she had been looking at some of those things earlier, that it never would have come to this. So, fortunately we were able to get Homelander neutralized, but the cost to her, man, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And that you just seem like you didn't care, especially early. Maybe you grew into it, but I don't see how you get past it. Yeah, he might be kind of just a bad person. So anyway, hit me with your thoughts on this one in the comment section. As always, hit that like and subscribe. And I'll be back later on today. I've got a more in-depth piece coming from the boys as well, and some later mythology.